have no desire to ever mend anything with that person. And yeah, that situation just went, it just went where it went, and it's just there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations.
It represented overcoming fear and doing what you felt, no matter what anyone said, and saying, you can't bully me.
Kanye West, the very guy Drake once looked up to like a big brother, might have been the reason Drake's darkest secret got exposed. Yeah, that secret, the one Pusha T dropped in The Story of Adidon, the one that forced Drake to confirm he had a son. Fans have always speculated, but when you look at the timeline, the studio sessions, and who knew what, it all points back to one person, Kanye. So was Ye just careless? Or has he been feeding Drake's info to the enemies? You probably know Drake and Kanye's relationship has never been straightforward, but what some forget is, it actually started with pure respect. Drake looked up to Kanye. He once said Kanye was the most influential person on his sound, and if you listen to early Drake, you can hear it. The emotional vulnerability, the layered production, the confidence to be different.
Kanye West shaped a lot of what I do, as far as music goes. We always took the time to listen to Kanye's music and appreciate it. We search the samples and we find out like where his inspiration comes from, because he has one of the best ears in music, period. He knows how to recognize great music that's not his. He knows how to recognize he knows how to utilize great sounds.
At that point, Drake had nothing but respect. He wasn't just a fan, he was a student, and Kanye, whether he realized it or not, he was the blueprint. And Kanye didn't ignore him. In fact, they had moments that made people think their bond was solid. Like when Ye showed up as a surprise guest at Drake's 2013 OVO Fest, not only did he perform, but he gave Drake props in front of a packed crowd.
Watch the phone.
Drake was stunned, and that was mutual respect, but that respect came with ambition. Like, Drake wasn't just praising Ye, he wanted to surpass him. And when he allegedly said, "I don't want to be as good as Kanye, I want to be better," may have changed everything, because for someone like Ye, that might have felt like war. He was coming for his spot. As Drake started climbing, things between him and Kanye got weird. The love was still there, but so was something else: tension. In one interview, Drake came for Kanye's Yeezus album. There were some real questionable bars on there, like that Swagili line. Come on, man. Even Fabulous wouldn't say something like that. That was bold. But then classic Drake, he walked it back, allegedly saying, "Kanye's the reason I'm here. I love everything about that guy." So, was it respect or rivalry? Honestly, it was starting to look like both. Meanwhile, Kanye wasn't quiet either. In one interview, he casually mentioned that he and Drake might make an album together, then added,
"Is Drake and Kanye album gonna happen?"
I don't know. It might happen because I threw that out.
Don't do it, man.
By the way, he
he
probably be mad that I mentioned it on y'all show.
that kind of thing. That's not accidental, it's Ye being Ye, saying something just to see how Drake would react, and it definitely added fuel to the already simmering fire. Then came the more personal shade. Drake was allegedly seen out with Amber Rose, Kanye's ex, not long after she and Ye had broken up. They were spotted at a club, and while nobody confirmed anything, it sparked dating rumors. And then there was the infamous Instagram post. Kanye allegedly shared the location of Drake's home publicly, then deleted it.
Post and delete of Drake's address.
That's corny if
crazy.
Kanye posted that.
That's wild.
I think it's wild corny whenever you post somebody's address.
But the damage was done. That moment, that's when fans really started to believe Kanye had taken things too far. That wasn't rap beef, that was real world reckless. So yeah, the admiration was still there, but it was tangled up with jabs, passive aggressive moments, and a constant game of one-upmanship. It wasn't just Drake versus Kanye anymore, it was Drake versus the man who used to inspire him, and maybe still did. And the more successful Drake became, the more it looked like Kanye couldn't handle it. But all that admiration, tension, and subtle shade, it didn't explode on a diss track first, it boiled over in Wyoming. Drake flew out to help Kanye with his upcoming album. Yeah, despite all their history, despite the tension, Drake still showed up. At first it sounded like just another internet rumor, until his own photographer casually dropped a photo from the mountains. That's when people realized this wasn't speculation. Drake was really there. With Ye, and soon after, it was basically confirmed. Reports said both were staying at the Amangani resort under fake names, but Drake didn't come empty-handed. He brought an engineer, a songwriter, even a truckload of studio equipment. Word was they built a full-on recording setup at Kanye's private villa away from the main hotel. So yeah, on the surface it looked like a creative reunion, Two titans in the game finally locking in to make magic. Beats, bars, and maybe even a joint project. That's what the word on the street said. But behind those closed studio doors, the vibe wasn't just musical. Insiders say Drake came in open. Not just ready to work, but ready to trust. He felt safe, comfortable enough to let his guard down. This wasn't just about 808s. It was about vulnerability, about speaking freely like to a brother. And that's when it happened. Sources claim Drake shared something no one outside his tightest circle was supposed to know, that he had a son, unfinished tracks, personal lyrics, and then that secret dropped into the room like it was staying locked in the vault forever. But now here's the twist. Weeks later, that same secret was the headline of a brutal diss track, and the only real question left is, was Wyoming really about the music? And Drake, he didn't even see it coming. So, you remember when Pusha T dropped the story of Adidon? People weren't just calling it a diss, they were calling it career-defining, maybe even life-changing. This time, Pusha didn't just attack Drake's pen, he dropped the one secret no one saw coming: Drake's son. Word on the street is that it was the hardest diss of the decade, full of brutal one-liners and cold facts. You can hear it yourself when Pusha raps these lines in the diss track.
You are hiding a child, let that boy come home. Deadbeat motherfucker playing border patrol. Ooh, Adonis is your son, and he deserves more than an Adidas press run. That's real. Love that baby.
It shut down his entire Adidas rollout and made him reveal his son to the world, and let's be honest, that moment, it changed everything for him. Push even took it a step further, drawing a line between Drake's dad being absent and hinting Drake might end up the same way. But instead of talking about all that, most fans just latched onto the secret child part. One even said, it made him step up. But the real question is, how did Pusha even find out about Drake's son? He's admitted he can't be around Drake, not even in the same studio.
I can't be in the studio when Drake's there. I can't. I'm not allowed.
So it clearly wasn't Drake who told him. And remember, at the time, Pusha wasn't just doing his own thing, he was locked in with Ye. Kanye was the executive producer of Daytona, the very album that reignited this whole beef. They weren't just label mates, they were in the studio together, building tracks from scratch. So if Ye heard something in Wyoming, it's not crazy to think he passed it on. Maybe even casually, maybe without realizing how far it would go. But the thing is, our insiders say that Drake swore that the secret was locked down. Only a handful of people knew, and one of them, Kanye, the same guy in the studio with him, acting like everything was cool. Then, not long after that trip, Pusha drops diss track, and suddenly Drake's biggest secret is out for the world to dissect. At first it was whispers, but the more the dots connected, the louder it got. Did Ye really feed Pusha that info? Was it just gossip, or was it something darker? Because at the time, Drake was on fire. Non-stop hits, major endorsements, global fame, and yeah, he was spiraling. MAGA hat, Twitter rants, delayed albums. The energy wasn't on his side, so maybe it wasn't a slip, it was a setup. Carefully calculated. Maybe Ye planned it all along, but of course Kanye denied it. But let's be real, Drake was in Wyoming, open, vulnerable, trusting. Then out of nowhere, his private life explodes across the internet, and conveniently, it all lined up a little too well. And here's what messes with people the most. What if this was never about music beef? What if Wyoming wasn't a collab gone sideways, but a trap planned by Ye from the jump? Drake trusted him, opened up, revealed things only family should know, and then a few days later, it's in a diss track. Now tell me, was this a setup from the start, or just Ye being Ye? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, hit subscribe, and turn on that bell for more.